Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to MiM Monday. I'm your host, Nick Lazaga, and this is Mickey in Minutes Live. If you're just joining me right now in the chat, thanks so much for hanging out. This is a conversation. This is where you and I talk about the news, so share your thoughts down below. And if you're watching this as a replay on or a playback, I guess we call it, on YouTube or on Instagram, then just know that you can join this conversation live every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time. And today is a very special episode because today we're celebrating Christmas in July. So, yeah, hey, I see people joining in the chat. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in, welcome in. So, yeah, this is Mickey in Minutes Live, and we're going to talk about some Disney news today. But first, we're going to talk about Christmas in July. So if you don't keep up with the actual podcast, Mickey in Minutes is not only the live show, but we're also, a podcast. We put out 2 episodes a month. And so on the podcast, our latest episode is a Christmas in July episode where we talked about all things Disney Christmas. So we talked about some of the things happening at Walt Disney World, including Jollywood Nights, my absolute favorite thing, Christmassy to do in the parks. We talked about a very Merry Christmas party over at the Magic Kingdom, and of course we talked about some Christmas ornaments. So yeah, and I just kind of want to break down some of that conversation today on MiM Monday, celebrate Christmas in July, because Christmas is my favorite time of year. We're a big Christmas house over here, and yeah, I want to show you guys some of the ornaments that we talked about on that episode. So if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it after this, of course. And if you've already listened to it, then here are some of the things that we talked about on that episode. So, cheers, everyone. Merry Christmas. So, I want to start off talking about some of these Christmas ornaments. Hey, what's going on? WDW Jedi. Thanks for joining. It's Christmas in July. We're celebrating today looking at a bunch of ornaments. So, of course, there are several ornaments that I want to talk about. The first type being the official Disney sketchbook ornament. So on the latest episode of Mickey in Minutes podcast, we talk about Disney sketchbook and the artist behind it and just how much amazing work goes into these ornaments. So the artist who designs Disney sketchbook, his name is Steve Thompson. I'm not going to give you the whole spiel because you got to listen to the podcast episode, but he does a great job. He's a former Disney animator. Now he works for Disney products, and he just designs these really great ornaments he calls sketchbook ornaments. And he likes to have the ornaments depict scenes from the movies, and then sometimes just really fun ornaments. So let's start off talking about a couple of these sketchbook ornaments. So one of the ones that we talked about on the podcast is this Disney Cinderella 75th anniversary sketchbook ornament. So she's in this glass bauble, I guess it's called. And she has the bubble. And just look how cute this is. Look how detailed this is, actually. And it has this really cool 75th anniversary logo at the top. There's the sketchbook logo. And yeah, the amount of detail work in here. She's holding the bubble. And it's incredible. Complete 360-degree ornament here. So yeah, this is Disney sketchbook. This is the Cinderella 75th anniversary ornament. Another sketchbook ornament I want to talk about also came out this year. We have a ton. These have been going on for a very long time, since 2005. Actually, this is the 20th anniversary of Disney sketchbook. So, hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining. Hey, what's going on, Tony? So this is another one. The only ones I'm showing are from this year. This one, the 30th anniversary of a Goofy movie. Of course, it has Powerline straight from the concert, right? There's the screens behind showing Goofy and Max, and then there's Powerline right there. Look at the detail. And on the back, it has the Goofy movie logo. That's fantastic. And this detail work on it. Look at the bottom right here. It has like the Powerline logo here. Oh, it's amazing. So these are available in the Disney parks, like in the Magic Kingdom. If you go to the Christmas shop, ye old Christmas shop, you can get those, and you could also get a lot of these on Shop Disney, or Disney Store. I keep calling it Shop Disney. It's Disney Store. Tony's asking, any Tower of Terror ornaments? We have a bunch of Tower of Terror ornaments. I remember I showed you those when we had our conversation, but I don't have them with me right now. I'm just showing some newer ornaments right now. But yeah, so there you go. The Goofy Movie 30th anniversary ornament. Aren't these great? So the other set we talked about on the podcast are the Hallmark ornaments. Now Hallmark does a really, really great job of doing these Disney ornaments. They also do some anniversary ornaments. But what I want to show you, what we talked about in the episode, again, if you go back and listen to the to the Mickey and Minutes Christmas in July episode we just released last week, you'll hear a lot about these. But Hallmark does a series of ornaments that are Mickey on ride vehicles. And this is the one from this year. It's Mickey on the carousel. Again, beautiful detail. This is a Hallmark exclusive ornament. And we have a ton of other ones from previous years. This has been a series they've been doing. We have Astro Orbiter. We have the Jungle Cruise. We have Autopia. A ton more. So this is the newest one from this year. So yeah. Isn't that great? Amazing. So tons of really good ornaments from Hallmark. Great ride ornaments, says Tony. Fingers crossed for some Tower of Terror stuff. Yeah, there's some great Tower of Terror stuff. If you get on eBay, you can definitely find some of the older building ornaments and stuff. So hey, it's going on. Living with Todd today. Thank you for joining. Thanks for hanging out. So a couple more I want to show you. Now these are really, really, really cool. So also from Sketchbook, they've been doing this series for the last few years on the Haunted Mansion. You got to see these. These are incredible. So a few years ago, they released a Haunted Mansion. Tony, you're in my brain. A Haunted Mansion tree topper. And this tree topper is literally, are you ready for this? It's the mansion. Look how big this is, guys. So this is from Hallmark, and now I'm going to show you. This does something else besides light up. So for these, you have to use something called like a magic cord. These aren't battery powered, but this is actually a tree topper. But I'll tell you what we do here. We have this set up on a shelf. We set it up, now in the fall, and we leave it up through Christmas time. And so they released this one a couple years ago. It's obviously the Florida Haunted Mansion. This year, they dropped the tree topper of the Disneyland Haunted Mansion, and it's just as amazing. Of course, Walt Disney World is my home park, right? It's where I've been going my entire life, mostly. So this is the one I had to have. But along with this, they've been releasing ornaments of different scenes from the ride. Now, I don't have all those out right now. They're all packed away. I will post a full video, a reel of the full thing when I get everything set up this year. But one of the ornaments that they released this year to go along with the Haunted Mansion set is the opera singer and this other dude with the sword. And I'm going to show you right now. So basically, this does like the whole ride. If I have all the ornaments hooked up, it'll do the whole ride. But comes with this remote, guys. This is not sponsored by Hallmark. I just think this is really, really cool, and I wanted to show you guys. So, yeah, here's the remote. You push the button. There's a button here. Hold on. It should work. There we go. Watch this.
When hinges creak in doorless chambers, and strange and frightening sounds echo.
Can you hear that? Is it going through the mic?
Whenever candlelights flicker, where the air is deathly still, that is the time when ghosts are present, practicing their terror with ghoulish delight.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Guys, it will do like the whole ride, basically. I'll let it play for a couple more seconds.
There are several prominent ghosts Actually, we have 999 happy haunts here. But there's room for 1,000. Any volunteers?
And so, basically,
If you insist on lagging behind,
alright, I gotta stop this. I could listen to the whole thing. Maybe. And so, each of the ornaments that come with it, or no, they don't come with it, you gotta buy them separately. But each of the ornaments that connect to it will play a different part of the mansion. And it all syncs up, but they're all connected to the tree topper. And so, they'll all sync up and they'll go in the correct sequence of the ride. So I don't have the other ones out right now. These are just this is just the newest one that came out this year. And so hear that. Oh, it's starting the whole thing. Hold on. I think if I turn this one off and then just play this one, you can hear what it sounds like. So it's the graveyard scene. Right? Awesome. So, yeah, these are available from Hallmark. I don't know if you can still get the Walt Disney World tree topper anymore, but it's amazing. Right now, you can get the Disneyland one if you go to Hallmark now. But yeah, so like I said, we set these up on a shelf, the whole thing on a nice display. We set it up now in the fall, for Halloween, spooky season. But then, of course, we leave it up all through Christmas because, thank you, Disneyland. You've made Haunted Mansion part of Christmas. So it stays up. Yeah, this is one of the coolest things I own, and I'm really stoked on it. So some of the other ones that they have that go along with it, they have the guy in the coffin, let me out of here, right? They have hitchhiking ghosts, yep. So Cousins Collect Christmas in the chat right now. Go follow Cousins Collect. So that's my wife and her cousin, and they showcase all the Christmas ornaments that they collect on that page. So go follow Cousins Collect for tons of really awesome Christmas content, and just a ton of, half of them are ours, and then half of them are her cousins. So they're really, really cool. One more ornament I want to show you from Hallmark, and then we'll move on to some Disney news. But kind of in honor of Disney Starlight opening, this is the Main Street Electrical Parade ornament. Look at that. And lights up. It's Goofy on the train. So this is the Main Street Electrical Parade. So this is not whimsy, but look how beautiful. And of course there's a button here, and this is amazing, right? So new at Hallmark this year. Fantastic. Now, we need, Disney, you need to release an ornament just like this of Whimsy from Starlight. Please, please, please. I think last year, maybe a couple years ago, they released another Main Street Electrical Parade one that was like the big drum and everything, and so good. This is another Magic Cable one, so a lot of the Hallmark ones you actually plug in, which I think is a good thing because now you're not taking out batteries, because one of the things that I hate about taking down Christmas is taking out all the little batteries. And, so I kind of like this, having these cables. I like that. So anyways, if you want to hear more about these ornaments, Disney sketchbook ornaments, like this guy, the Disney Hallmark stuff, boop, and of course, the Haunted Mansion stuff. If you want to hear all about this stuff, tune in to the latest episode of the Mickey in Minutes podcast. My wife Chelsea is actually on that episode because she's the Christmas person. She's more Christmas obsessed than I am, believe it or not. And so she's on that episode, and we just chat about ornaments and Jollywood Nights and all that stuff. It's out now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Please check out that episode. And Merry Christmas in July, guys. I love it so much. So I'm going to turn this off. And there we go. All right. Keep these safe because, yeah, they're very special. But anyways, Merry Christmas in July. I'm wearing my my Christmas Star Wars shirt. Look at that, dashing through the snow. It has like an AT-AT on it and everything. I'm even wearing my Christmas pajama pants. I'm all in, guys. I'm all in. So, while I was talking about these ornaments, it looks like a handful of people joined the chat. Thanks so much for joining the chat. Drop a Christmas tree in that chat, a Christmas tree emoji in that chat if you love Christmas and if you're already excited. You know, I know we have spooky season coming up first. So, you know, if you're ready for spooky season, drop a little jack-o'-lantern in the chat right now. And go to Hallmark and buy all these Haunted Mansion things because they work. They work for Christmas. They work for Halloween. They just work. So, anyways, and are there any ornaments that you want to get? Let me know in the chat. I want to know what ornaments from this year or previous years are you looking forward to getting? I showed this earlier, this Cinderella 75th anniversary. Look how beautiful this is. But again, follow Cousins Collect to see a whole bunch more Christmas ornaments that we have from all these collections. But anyways, let's get over to the news now. So I see some jack-o'-lanterns. I see some Christmas trees. I see WDW Jedi put both. Chelsea put both. Look at that. Very nice, very nice. So I'm going to do the rest of the news in full Christmas in July mode because, you know, it's what we do here at Mickey Minutes. WDW Jedi says he needs that power line. It's fantastic. So cool. I think there's another Powerline Max ornament that dropped at Hallmark this year as well. The one I showed was the official Disney sketchbook. The Hallmark one is really cool too. But anyways, so let's get over to the news here. Pull up my notes, not the notes from last week. That'd be bad. Notes from this week. All right. So Disney should do a Christmas in July. Yeah, I know. So they do Christmas in July as a means of selling Christmas merch, but I do agree it'd be really cool if they took a couple of days and just did some Christmas activities, you know, at the parks. That'd be awesome, right? So last week, Disneyland turned 70 years old. So happy birthday, Disneyland. I, of course, will be going in, I think my countdown's at 8 days now. I'll be in Disneyland. I cannot wait. Celebrating Disneyland's 70th. I'm ready. But another really cool milestone is that, according to the Orange County Register, Disneyland Resort has welcomed its 1 billionth visitor. I'll let that sink in. That's crazy. So apparently that happened back in February, according to the Orange County Register. You know, it definitely would have happened sooner if the parks weren't closed for so long. I'm actually kind of surprised it took this long to get to that number. But yeah, 1 billion visitors at Disneyland. That's a really cool way to also be celebrating 70 years. Of course, that was back in February, so who knows how many hundreds of thousands have visited since then. And a part of this Disneyland 70th anniversary, one of the things they did for those people who cannot make it into the parks for the Disneyland 70th is on Disney Plus, they released a bunch of ride POV and land POV videos on Disney Plus. Hey, what's going on? Yellow Cup Social Club, welcome to the party. MiM Monday and Disney Dad Morgan, thanks so much for joining. We're talking about Disneyland 70th. So the Disneyland ride POVs officially dropped on July 17th on Disney Plus, and there's a bunch of them through rides and through lands for those of you who can't visit, or for nerds like me and you probably, if you're tuning into a Disney news show, then you're probably the kind of person who just wants to sit at home, even though you've been to the parks 1,000 times, and you just want to watch these. I'm the kid who grew up, I'm a 90s kid, so I grew up with those VHS tapes that you would get in the mail, the vacation planning videos. And, the one that's like, I really, really wish we were at Disney World. Me too. Can you wish a little harder? Remember that? So I treasure that video. And watching that, knowing I was going to the parks and seeing videos of the attractions on there, and just, I think that started my love for, like, the person I am now, a podcaster, a content creator, and someone who just binges other people's content on YouTube as well. And so now we have official POVs of 17 different journeys through Disneyland. They have Pirates of the Caribbean, Indiana Jones Adventure, Radiator Springs Racer, Incredicoaster, Haunted Mansion, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, Cars Land, Pixar Pal Around, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Jungle Cruise, Soarin' Around the World, Avengers Campus, Hollywood Land, Main Street USA, Mickey's Toontown, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. The last two, those came out on May the 4th, and then the rest of them dropped for Disneyland 70th. And there's some fireworks ones as well, right? So, yeah, Enchanted Alexis says, watch all the parades and fireworks on your TV with your family. Yeah, right? When these dropped, my wife and I just sat and just binged through a bunch of them. So, I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer, but a couple of things I wanted to talk about that made me laugh. Because, did you guys notice in the Tiana's Bayou Adventure one, Tiana wasn't working? It just made me think, like, all right, you're going through all this trouble to put these up on Disney Plus, a paid subscription, and you couldn't even film it when the ride was working. So the first Tiana, when you're going up that initial lift hill, and the last Tiana in the Joyful Celebration Party, they're both, the only thing that worked are the eyes and the mouth on both of those. And it's funny because they're like trying to pan past the Tiana at the end really fast. But and that one had a lot of like weird cuts and like fade outs and stuff. So that one was a little weird. It does not do the ride justice. If you know me, you know I'm the biggest Splash Mountain fan on the planet. And even I know that Tiana deserved better on this POV. It's a great, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is actually a really, really great ride in person. So if this is the only thing you've experienced for Tiana, then it doesn't even, it's not the same. And then the other one that I thought was funny in kind of a weird way was the Indiana Jones Adventure one, for a couple reasons. Number one, that ride, what makes that ride is, you're rocking around in the Jeep and, it's all shaky. And of course they have a steady cam. So that in itself, you're losing some of it, right? And the other thing that's weird about that one is the mixing. So it sounds like they didn't use the audio from the camera. They actually used source audio, which I think is really cool to hear that source audio really crisply. But it makes it really, really noticeable that the VO for Indiana Jones sounds nothing like Harrison Ford. So it was a little weird. I wish they would have balanced that out. And the music on the Indiana Jones one is really, really quiet. But, again, another one that does not do the ride justice. Indiana Jones Adventure is my favorite attraction in all of Disneyland. And watching the POV on Disney Plus was a little cringy for me. But it's so good. It doesn't do it justice. If you want to know a little bit more, shameless plug again. If you want to know a little bit more about Indiana Jones Adventure, I did an episode maybe last month, I think, and it was called Dismantling Dino Land from Dr. Jones to Dr. Seeker, and it's talking about how Indiana Jones is going to replace the dinosaur attraction over in Animal Kingdom. But in that episode, I do a quick history of the Indiana Jones attraction in Anaheim. And it's worth listening if you want to know a little bit more about the history of that attraction. So, anyways, those are my my 2 cents on these POVs. Hey, Enchanting Travels by Ellis. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for hanging out. This is MiM Monday, and we're talking about Disneyland. So the other POVs I've seen, I haven't seen them all yet, honestly. We watched the Pirates of the Caribbean one. Just fantastic. No notes. The Pixar Pal Around, I think, is interesting. I thought it would be hilarious if they filmed that one on like the Rockin' gondola. Of course they didn't, but just to hear like the camera guy going like, "Oh," that's just me. I thought that'd be really funny. They didn't do that. So let me know in the comments of these Disneyland POVs that they put on Disney Plus. Which one is your favorite? Which one do you think is the best depiction of the Disneyland ride? Because of course we know that none of them will ever be like being on the actual attractions, right? None of them will do the ride actually justice. So let me know in the comments which one is your favorite POV that they dropped on Disney Plus. I want to know. I'm very curious. And if you say Tiana's, cool. No Tower of Terror. These are only Disneyland POVs, so I'm hoping that they do some Walt Disney World ones soon. I know that they filmed Muppet Vision 3D before they closed it for good. R.I.P. So I'm thinking that one will probably end up on Disney Plus at some point in the future. Maybe. Maybe not. The Incredicoaster was really cool, says WDW Jedi. Yeah. So, other news for Disneyland. Fantastic Four. That movie comes out this weekend. Right before MiM Monday, I bought my tickets for Chelsea and I to go see Fantastic Four on Saturday. We have some theaters over here. Do you guys have Alamo Drafthouse, those theaters anywhere else? Or is that a Texas thing? They bring you your food, you order like pizza and beer and stuff, and they bring it to your seat, and it's really cool. So we're going there for Fantastic Four. That movie drops the July 25th. Today, actually, Disney Plus is live streaming the blue carpet world premiere of Fantastic Four, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So that's going on Disney Plus, and to celebrate this movie, they're bringing out these characters, guys. So Disneyland is just awesome with this, right? Disneyland is so great. They're always on top of it, bringing out characters relevant to movies that are coming out, especially Marvel movies. Now, what's interesting about these the Fantastic Four meet and greets is that they're not happening in Avengers Campus. They're not happening in DCA. They're happening in Disneyland and Tomorrowland, and it's because the timelines are all weird, right? So this, I haven't seen the movie yet, but from what I gathered, this is like they call them the first family of superheroes, right? So this is way before Avengers. It's a cool like period film. And it's really gonna match the aesthetic of Tomorrowland, and it just wouldn't work in Avengers Campus. And so they're meeting all 4 members of the Fantastic Four. So who do we got? Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman, the Human Torch, what's his name? The Thing, right? And the robot Herbie. They're all meeting, but what's interesting is they're meeting one at a time and they're alternating. So you really don't know which hero you're gonna get. Of course, I feel like everybody's gonna be wanting to meet the robot Herbie. That's who I want to meet. But they're meeting outside of the Tomorrowland Theater near the entrance to Space Mountain. So I'm hoping that we get to meet Herbie when I'm there. So this is gonna be happening over the summer, it says. So starting July 25th, end date unspecified, but it says for the rest of the summer. So I'm guessing it'll end of August maybe when they start putting up the Halloween stuff. But yeah, so it's funny. Every time I think about meeting a character in this spot in front of the entrance to Space Mountain, I always think back to my trip about 3 years ago when the Lightyear movie came out, that Pixar movie Lightyear, and they had a meet and greet with Buzz Lightyear, but it was like the realistic Buzz Lightyear, not like the Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. And it was just like a dude in like a spacesuit. And so we walked by this meet and greet. There was nobody there, nobody going up to this Buzz Lightyear. And I just overhear people in line for Space Mountain behind us, and their conversation was, "Who is that? Is that an original Space Mountain character? Is that just a generic spaceman, who is that character? And so I feel like that was the general consensus of this Buzz Lightyear. I didn't go up and meet that Buzz Lightyear. In fact, I've never even seen that movie, honestly. Is it good? Let me know in the comments. Is that one that I should go out and watch? Because I haven't seen it yet. But I just think it was hilarious. So hopefully these Fantastic Four characters get a little bit more love in their meet and greets over in Tomorrowland. Disney Card Daily joined. Thanks so much for joining. Welcome to MiM Monday. We're talking about Fantastic Four characters over in Tomorrowland starting pretty soon. And so the other thing that they're doing that I think is pretty cool is starting on July 25th all the way through September 21st, which now that I'm reading that, I'm guessing that's when the characters end also. But they're going to be doing projections on Space Mountain. So on the facade of Space Mountain, they're going to be projecting a celebration of the Fantastic Four. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's going to be like clips from the movie or iconography from the movie or what they're going to be projecting exactly. I have no idea. But yeah, projections on Space Mountain starting July 25th, only in the evenings. And I'm guessing it's sporadically. I don't think it's going to be like a thing that's going on just all night. So my prediction is that it's going to be like maybe a 2-minute show. Maybe they'll change the area music to match the show and do something cool, and then it'll go back to normal, and then it'll repeat every once in a while. I don't know, but I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I get there in about 8 days. So if I see something really cool going on, I'll put it on my story. Which, by the way, if you're not following Mickey in Minutes, please follow, because I'll be in Disneyland soon, and I'm going to be putting stuff on my story just all the entire trip. So I'm really excited about it. I got this new DJI iPhone gimbal, and it's going to be a game changer, I'm sure. So please follow along with our journey over in Disneyland. It's going to be really great. And so other thing going on is, of course, it wouldn't be a Disneyland celebration without specialty food and, food accessories, right? Nobody but Disney people talk about food accessories, but, here we are. We're Disney fans. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So we're going to have the Fantastic Four sipper, which is it's going to be like the Thing's hand, and he's going to be like this, and I guess you put your beverage in his hand. So that's pretty cool. It's like a glove, right? So when I think about that, I remember they did one with like Iron Man, right? It was like an Iron Man glove sipper like that. They also did a popcorn bucket for Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, where you stuck your hand in like a Mickey Mouse glove, and I was holding like a picnic basket. So this is pretty cool. Jody Baker, CC Travel Co. Thank you so much for joining MiM Monday. Welcome in. We're talking about Fantastic Four stuff coming to Disneyland. Chelsea says, yeah, it's like Hulk hands. Exactly. So think of Hulk hands, but it's like the Thing. And yeah, it has like a cool Fantastic Four watch. Very cool. Another thing they're going to have is one of those like straw clips. So basically what a straw clip is, if you're not in the know here, it's like back in the day they used to sell those like plastic curly straws. Excuse me. I mean, I had a whole bunch that were like shaped like Mickey Mouse, I love those. But this is like a blue curly straw, and then hanging from it is a keychain, basically, of Mr. Fantastic. And he's like stretched, and like his body wraps around the long part of the straw. So, very cool. Very, very cool. Who knows if I end up coming back home with one of these. We'll see. If I like the movie, then I might be the psycho who comes back with a Fantastic Four straw keychain, because that's just who I am. And it'll be on my desk somewhere because, what are you going to do? That's what we do as Disney fans, right? We buy a bunch of really cool stuff and we just display it all over our house. So, here are the names. So that sipper is called the Clobberin' Slipper. No, Clobberin' Sipper. Yeah, that's what it is. And then the Mr. Fantastic straw clip. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So you can get these at a few locations. You can get them at Pim Test Kitchen. You can get them in Tomorrowland at their fruit cart. You can get them at Alien Pizza Planet. So, yeah, all these places. And I want to mention one more weird food item. You can go on Disney Parks blog and check out all the stuff coming for this Fantastic Four food celebration. But there's one that I need to talk about because it is weird and it looks disgusting. So it's a mozzarella stick, so like a cheese stick, but the outside of the cheese stick is dyed blue. It's a blue cheese stick. Yeah. And it's served with sour cream and onion ranch. So, I mean, it sounds good. I mean, just give me a regular mozzarella stick and sour cream and onion ranch dip, and I'd be happy. But why is it blue? I mean, I get it because the color of Fantastic Four is blue, but it's so weird. So yeah, that's what they have. Disneyland Paris has some more stuff than what we have. They actually have some like adult beverages and stuff that Disneyland doesn't seem to have. They have a drink called Clobberin' Time. That sounds cool. I'm betting that most of these drinks are gonna have like blue curacao in it because Fantastic Four is blue and they dyed the cheese stick blue. So, anyways, that's what's going on. If you are ready for Fantastic Four, drop a number 4 in the chat. Let me know if you are excited for Fantastic Four. I know I am. I think this is going to be the best Marvel movie since Deadpool and Wolverine. That's my prediction. I actually haven't seen Thunderbolts yet, so let me know in the chat if that's worth watching or not. Also, I'm very curious, or if you're watching this as a playback, let me know in the comments. Is Thunderbolts worth watching? But we watched Captain America, New World Order, or whatever it was called, and it was not good. It was not good. So I feel like this is going to be really good. I'm calling it best Marvel movie since Deadpool and Wolverine, which Deadpool and Wolverine is in my top 5 Marvel movies. So, I really wish that they still had that Deadpool and Wolverine show over at DCA. Did you guys ever see that? I saw it on YouTube. I saw like several versions of it, and it looked amazing. I'm really sad that I'm not going to be able to see that. So, Disney, please bring that back. We want more Deadpool and Wolverine in the parks. Let's switch gears over to Disney World because Starlight premiered, the new parade over at Walt Disney World, of course, inspired by the Main Street Electrical Parade and Spectro Magic. This is actually the first nighttime parade in Magic Kingdom since the Main Street Electrical Parade, since that left Magic Kingdom in 2016. Guys, I mean, of course, not including the party parades, right? We have nighttime parades for Christmas and for Halloween, but this is the first like non-seasonal, just everyday parade, and it had previews, so they surprised everybody. And on July 18th, they did a surprise preview of Disney Starlight. It just ran in the Magic Kingdom, and again, I've said this before, I'm the kind of person who likes to be spoiler free. So I have not seen it. I don't have any comments on the show. I know about it just from everything they've put out leading up to it. But now that it's officially out, I'm not watching anything else. But it officially premiered yesterday. They had previews on July 18th and July 19th. But yeah, so there's a bunch of characters in this parade. There's the Blue Fairy. Of course, the Blue Fairy leads the parade. That's a tribute to the Main Street Electrical Parade in itself. And then we have Peter Pan and Wendy. We have Asha from Wish. We have the family Madrigal from what's that movie called? Encanto, right? We have Elsa from Frozen. We have Aurora and Prince Philip and Tiana and Prince Naveen and Belle and the Beast and Cinderella, Prince Charming. We have Miguel from Coco. We have Moana. Of course, we have the Fab Five. We have Snow White and Dopey. We have Rapunzel and Flynn, Aladdin, Jasmine, Mickey, Minnie. And of course, I mentioned this on the last show. There's a new original character for this parade, and his name is Whimsy, and he's a train, and it just looks amazing. So over in the comments, let's see, Jody Baker says, can't wait to see that parade. The Peter Pan float looks amazing, going next week. That is awesome. I'm so excited for you. I'll be in Disney World in September. We're taking a nice family trip, and this is one of the things I'm most looking forward to, of course, besides seeing my little nieces experience Disney World for the first time. That's going to be really special. But besides that, Starlight. You know, so I am who I am. I'm ready for that parade. But yeah, so there's just, it's going to be amazing. And now I've heard mixed reviews. Again, I'm spoiler free and I haven't read or listened to any reviews, but I've seen comments here and there. Some people saying it's disappointing, it's not very good, and I've heard other people saying that it's great. So I'm going to wait and form my own opinion, and yeah. But along with this parade debut, they've debuted a bunch of new merch. There's even a new window display in the Emporium at Magic Kingdom. The new poster is up under the train station, which I want that poster. I need it. I love attraction posters so much. I need that. But there's new merch. There's some pins. And if you don't know, I am not an annual pass holder. Just a huge fan who goes a lot. Not an annual pass holder, which means I cannot get the annual pass holder exclusive pin, which makes me sad because that's the one with the blue fairy on it. But, you know, as a pin collector, I will still get the regular pin. T-shirts and bubble wands and all the stuff are also available. So, Disney Starlight. Who's ready for that? I'm ready. I gotta wait till September, but I'm ready. So, a couple other things. Another thing that is opening is Test Track. So, Test Track has actually soft opened to the public. It's been in previews. It's been doing cast member previews and all these other previews. And just today, I'm pretty sure, was the only day actually, but today they did a soft open. That means guests in the park could ride that attraction. And another attraction that I'm staying completely spoiler free for, but I'm ready. It officially opens July 22nd, tomorrow. So, you know, if you're watching this live, you know, you're hearing this here, but, you know, I post these on YouTube on Tuesdays. So if you're watching this as a playback on YouTube, it's open. Yay. But yeah, the other thing that actually opened earlier is the Gear Shop, which is the new Test Track merch location at the end of the ride. And that actually opened to the public before the soft opening of the ride, so that's really cool. Who doesn't love attraction-specific merch, right? I think I've mentioned this story on the show before. I used to have an original Test Track T-shirt that I got when I was just a little boy, and I wore it for one of my school pictures because, you know, that's who I was. That's still who I am. So let's see. Jody Baker in the chat saying, doing Test Track for the first time on Monday. All the lightning lanes are already gone, so you'll be rope dropping. Good luck. Good luck to you. I hope that you don't have a very long line if you're rope dropping, and I hope you enjoy that attraction. So I love Test Track. My heart goes out to the original Test Track. The 2.0 was great. I'm ready. I'm ready for this new one. But I love attraction merch, and I'm so happy that Gear Shop opened. And speaking of attraction merch, Rock and Roller Coaster. Rock and Roller Coaster is going away, and they dropped a new line of merch. It's not farewell merch, but, you know, it could be maybe one of the last drops for merch for that attraction, since that's going away very, very soon. And yeah, here are my thoughts on Rock and Roller Coaster merch. They're always so cheesy. Like, they lean into like that, like, rock and roll, like, to the point where it's like, I can't buy any of it. But as a kid, I was obsessed with Rock and Roller Coaster merch. I play drums in real life. That's something I've always done. I've been in bands my whole life. And so I have Rock and Roller Coaster drumsticks. I have like a little Rock and Roller Coaster drum. I have all those things that I'm just treasuring, you know, now that it's going to be rethemed to the Muppets. And I'm sure all the merch after that will just have Muppet stuff all over it, which, you know, is great. I love Muppets. But so if you want Rock and Roller Coaster merch, get it. There's one piece of merch that came to my attention as being pretty cool. It's a jacket that says LA Down Under Club on it, which is a very niche reference to something in the attraction. And that's like the most niche or unique item that you'll see there. So that's pretty cool. But other than that, it's like flames and like guitars and stuff. So anyways, that's pretty cool. But a couple more stories to talk about here. Let's talk about theming over at the Magic Kingdom, because even though the Magic Kingdom is getting rid of theming with the Rivers of America going away, but what I mean by getting rid of theming is that you're going to walk into Frontierland and you're going to see a big line of construction walls all on the river. And that could be and will be really, really ugly. But they're doing what they can to try to spice these up a little bit. So they've added some themed posters and stickers and artwork to the construction walls that are themed to the land, which I really appreciate that. So a lot of times on construction walls, they'll have just like generic like Walt Disney quotes or like signs that say like "Pardon our pixie dust" and that kind of stuff. But these are actually being covered with posters that are references to several attractions and even films. So get this is pretty cool. So there's an advertisement for Gold Miners Wanted, Big Thunder Mining Company, which of course is a reference to Big Thunder. That's also down and under construction or refurbishment, I guess, right now. So that's pretty cool. There's a poster for the Hard Times Cafe. I'll be honest, I had no idea what this was referencing, so I had to look it up. This is a reference to the Apple Dumpling Gang, that 1975 film. That's a deep cut. That's really cool. And that really works with the Frontierland theming. So I'm all for that. There's an ad for the Hoop-Dee-Doo Musical Review, which of course is a Disney World original. It's over in Fort Wilderness. It's a dinner show, and that's fantastic. I'm glad that they're referencing that in Frontierland. I think we need more synergy between Fort Wilderness and Frontierland. More of that cross synergy, because that's really cool. There's another ad or a poster of Slewfoot Sue from this is from the Pecos Bill section of the 1948 film Melody Time. So another really deep cut here that they're throwing on the wall in Magic Kingdom. So guys, I mean, am I the only one who thinks this is really cool? The Unbirthday Girl has joined the chat. Hey, welcome to MiM Monday. We're talking about these construction walls over Frontierland and how they're actually kind of themed. So there's another poster for Dr. Terminus, who is the antagonist in the movie Pete's Dragon from 1977. So again, another deep cut film that they're referencing, and also to us Disney Parks fan, a little tip of the hat to Main Street Electrical Parade, which of course had a humongous float of Elliot, and it's one of the most iconic and classic parts of that parade. I have a popcorn bucket of that from Disneyland, so that's really cool. There's another construction wall has a poster that says "Hundreds of acres of land for sale." In my Disney brain, that has to be a Winnie the Pooh reference, right? Hundreds of acres, of course, the 100-acre wood. So I think that's really nice. There are some more posters on the walls closer to Tiana's Bayou Adventure that are advertising several things for that reference Tiana's foods. Hey, what's going on? Pixie Dust Trading. Thanks so much for joining. So these posters over by Tiana's Bayou Adventure, they have some Cest Beau brand sweet peas, and coffee beans, all these references to Tiana's foods. These are all really cool, very themed. More people in the chat. What's going on, people? Thanks so much for hanging out. We're talking about these walls in Frontierland. So yeah, a bunch of references to Tiana's foods and things that are doing a really good job of placemaking, right? That's one of the things about theme parks, is that you don't want to just go from ride to ride to ride, because then, you might as well go to a Six Flags, right? And so the fact that they're even theming these construction walls in Frontierland, I think that's a good sign of two things. I think it's showing us, number one, they care, right? They're caring about the theming, and even though they're construction walls, they're still caring about how it's going to look, right? And how the guest experience is going to be. And the other thing, if they're putting that much care into details on construction walls, I think it'll be okay. I think what they're doing to the Rivers of America is going to be okay, right? I think they're going to add some theming to that in places that we're not even thinking about. I mean, look at these references. Reference to Pete's Dragon, Apple Dumpling Gang, Melody Time, right? These are all really cool things that are, if you're one of the people who've kind of lost faith in the theming in Disney World and Imagineering, look at these posters on a construction wall and realize they still care. They still care. So there's a couple more. There's actually another one that has a reference to the Castaway Cowboy from 1974. So it says the Great South Seas Cattle Drive, and that's a reference to this 1974 film that I don't even know about, right? So me as a big Disney fan, I don't even know what this is. And so there's somebody out there who's going to look at this and be like, the Castaway Cowboy, that's my favorite movie, right? So this is for somebody. And I just really appreciate that they're digging deep and putting these out. So these aren't even all the walls yet. And I'm curious. I'm ready. I want to know what else are they going to put up here. So I'm sure there's eventually going to be some advertisements for like some Cars stuff, maybe some Rusties or something that is going to throw me off. But for now, I'm really liking this stuff. So yeah, I got one more thing to mention here. But I won't end on a downer. This next one, I don't know if it's a downer. But Under the Sea, Journey to the Little Mermaid, closed for refurbishment. And when I saw this, I was like, oh no, I hope this isn't closed for when I'm there. It's not. It's actually a really short closure. Monday, July 21st, that's today, through July 26th. So really short closure over at Little Mermaid. And Ariel's still meeting next door during this time and everything. So it's all good. Nothing major. But what I wanted to end this MiM Monday episode on is a really nice interview with Josh D'Amaro and Bob Iger that they did for Disney Parks blog in regards to Disneyland 70th anniversary. I'm not going to read you the whole interview, obviously. You can pull it up on Disney Parks blog. It's really nice. And I wanted to end with this because they say a couple of things that make me as a Disney fan feel pretty good, about management and how they feel about where they are, where the company is right now. So, basically, Josh D'Amaro, he said this anniversary is more than a milestone. It's a time it's a chance to reflect on Walt's original dream and how far it's come. Right. So again, right off the bat, giving that reference to Walt Disney himself. It says what started as one park has grown into destinations around the world, all built on his behalf. That Disney could create incredible worlds like no one else. That quote right there, that's a fantastic Josh D'Amaro quote, right? Not only bringing it back to Walt, but saying, hey, Disney company, we are still in this game. We're still creating incredible worlds. I kind of wish he would have said epic universes. That's just me being a little facetious, I guess. But, they're still number one, right? This is Josh D'Amaro saying, 70 years later, and even with competitors creating other great parks, we're still on top, and we're still creating incredible worlds like no one else, is what he said. And that's a really cool quote. Hey, what's going on? A couple people joining the chat. Thanks for joining MiM Monday. So the other thing, Josh D'Amaro, he said, over the years, as our company has welcomed new storytellers from Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and 20th Century, we have been able to bring more beloved characters and adventures to life for new generations. Today, we have more projects under development across Disney experiences than ever before. all continuing Walt's legacy of innovation, wonder, and connection. We're still doing what he set out to do, inviting guests into the stories they love in ways that only Disney can. Wow. Guys, that's a fantastic quote. Josh D'Amaro. My vote, next CEO, my vote goes to Josh D'Amaro. I think this quote really sums up the fact that he gets it, right? I feel like he understands the mission of the Walt Disney Company theme parks. It's to invite guests into the stories in ways that Disney can. And again, bringing it back to Walt, continuing Walt's legacy of innovation, wonder, connection, right? So innovation, of course, referring to just taking these attractions to the next level with technology, right? Of course, Walt Disney was a pioneer in that. Audio animatronics technology was that came from WED, from Walt Disney, You can tell he's a real Disney fan, says Jody Baker. Absolutely. Happiest Disney Mom says, awesome quote. Yes, I agree. Josh D'Amaro, right? Just knocking it out of the park. And of course, not to be outdone, Bob Iger is also quoted in saying that Disneyland exists today because Walt possessed an abundant amount of courage, ambition, and vision. He didn't just look around corners or peer into the future. He actually went there. He was determined. When he determined what he wanted to do, he did it against all odds, defying skeptics and naysayers. Guys, literal goosebumps. I already read this, and literal goosebumps reading it out loud again because, wow. Taking it back to Walt and just talking about how Walt, defied skeptics, naysayers. I read that and I just think of today, there are pockets of the Disney community, honestly, that are kind of toxic, right? I'm not going to lie. And, we try to stay away from toxicity like that, but you can't avoid it completely. And I feel like the Disney company is very aware of people constantly criticizing and I just think this is fantastic. Defying skeptics and naysayers. Walt did it, and we're doing it too, And he went on to say, Walt invented the modern theme park. Yeah, he absolutely did, right? You think about before Disneyland, it was amusement parks, the roller coasters on the pier and, stuff like that, right? Carousels in parks. But Walt Disney invented something brand new. The theme park. And people have imitated that, but no one has even come close to doing it the way that Disney did and still does. Disney's still on top 70 years later, and the Disney theme park industry is still number one. He said, so Bob Iger also said, in just 1 year, Walt and his team turned what had been a patch of orange groves into a completely new way to be entertained with family, friends, and loved ones, creating indelible memories and some of the most cherished moments in people's lives. Yeah. Right? Absolutely. I mean, some of the best memories of my entire life, whether it's from childhood or adulthood, have been at the Disney parks. And I think Bob Iger addressing that in this, these are all quotes being asked in reference to the Disneyland 70th anniversary. And I can't say this enough. I think they get it. I think at this point, we went through some periods where, we've had some leadership, Bob Chapek, of people who didn't get it. Right? People who didn't understand what Disney fans wanted, what the Disney parks were all about. And I just feel like these quotes from both Josh D'Amaro and Bob Iger are really hammering home the fact, hey, we get it. We have a lot of things in the oven right now. We're doing a lot of new things. We're still innovating. We're still creating worlds that people can experience. We're still in the business of making memories. And oof. At the risk of me tearing up and crying on MiM Monday, I should probably stop here because that's so beautiful. If you want to read this interview, go to the Disney Parks blog and click on the Disneyland 70th tab. And there's a lot more. so many more great quotes. Josh D'Amaro talks about his first experience on a Disney attraction, riding Peter Pan, and that got me because that's my favorite attraction, And there's just so much more to read, but I thought we'd end it there because we're celebrating Disneyland's 70th. I'll be there in just a few days, and even though there's things going on that we don't care for, Muppets closing, Rivers of America closing, there's hope for the future. There's a lot of great things still coming, and I'll say it, it's a great time to be a Disney Parks fan. So with that, thank you so much for tuning in to MiM Monday. This has been Mickey and Minutes Live, and you can hang out with me every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time and chat about Disney news. If you're watching this as a replay, hang out next week. Tell your fellow Disney friends about this show. And thanks everybody who joined live in the chat. I like to think that Mickey and Minutes is a community, and it's not just me. And I'm so happy that you guys have chosen to be a part of this community. Check out the podcast. We do episodes typically twice monthly. And they're on Apple Podcasts, they're on Spotify, on YouTube. So I've been doing the podcast for about 6 years now. So there's so many episodes for you to go back and listen to. So please subscribe and enjoy those. And yeah. I see in the chat. Thank you. Good stuff. Thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you guys next week for another MiM Monday. Thanks so much for helping to make Monday magical. I love you guys. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hey, what's going on, everyone?